What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video by the Fantasy Fanatics. I'm Nathan. I'm here with Spencer. You want to say hello?
What's up, guys?
So this is the third weekly rankings video for week one. This is the receivers this time. We got week one coming up. This is being recorded on Monday, like the other rankings videos. We're 3 days away from the regular season. The sad part is we have to wait 6 days until the first Sunday when football really starts. Thursday, football starts, but Sunday is when it really starts.
I think
So,
uh,
you
I think
excited
this will
for it?
be coming out Wednesday. So
So having a time
tomorrow,
for Thursday for sure.
tomorrow will be football.
Yeah, based on when this released.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
So
Yeah, and then
pretty
you got to
excited.
go through the two slowest days of your life between that first Friday and Saturday before the Sunday.
Yeah, I got drafts loaded up this week before Thursday, so
Yeah, it's
it's
gonna be
it's,
busy.
it's draft season.
Alrighty. Well, so for week one, we've got our receiver rankings on the screen. Go check them out on our website, thefffanatics.com. We've got my rankings, we've got Spencer's and our average rankings. Big shout out again to Cole Shake for the clean design. So we both have Devonte Adams at number one. We both have Tyreek Hill at number two, and then after that's when it begins to change. How do you feel about Adams and Hill being one and two? Do you think we'll see that most weeks?
Well, I was going to put Hill at one this week, just based off of Devonte Adams' matchup. He's going to be lined up against Lattimore, I
Mm-hmm.
would guess, um, and Tyreek Hill probably against Denzel Ward, but they're probably not going to cover Tyreek Hill with one certain guy.
Yeah,
But
always be a safety.
Devontae's so good, and he's really got no, other big receiver there to compete with targets besides Robert Tonyan.
Mm-hmm.
And he's not really going to take many targets away from Adams.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Adams is probably going to be at one most weeks.
I think a lot of weeks, depending on the matchups, I think any of those top six, depending on their matchups, have a chance at being the number one receiver on any given week for our rankings. Adams got a great connection with Rodgers, and like you were saying, not many other receiving options to take away a bunch of work from him. Tyreek's competing with Kelsey, but that offense at the same time is more potent. And I expect Cleveland to give Kansas City a better game than the Saints will give Green Bay. So it may even out. And then after that, you have Calvin Ridley at three. I have DK Metcalf at three. What do you have Calvin Ridley in that three spot?
Just because he's not facing a very good defensive team, like we talked about in previous videos, I could see Atlanta having to throw a lot. Um, but Arthur Smith did come from Tennessee, where they love to run the ball. But I mean, Calvin Ridley, he's a stud. Last year, he was wide receiver one for how many weeks? Probably 8 or 9.
Yeah, he was up there for a while.
And then he doesn't have Julio there anymore. The only thing you got to worry about is Pitts. But I mean Russell Gage. I mean, are you really worried about him?
No, not really.
So I mean, I just think it's matchup. And Calvin Ridley will probably fall into that 3 spot most weeks, unless he has a tough matchup and somebody else has a really good matchup.
Yeah, I think we're going to see that top six kind of stay steady. Maybe someone like Justin Jefferson and Terry McLaurin will make it a group of 8 or 7, but I think you're going to see they will stay the top 8 maybe for a lot of the season and then just kind of shift around within themselves. I've got DK at 3. They're playing Indy, who you don't really know how the offense is going to be under Carson Wentz. Jonathan Taylor should be getting good run. DK is going to be going up against Xavier Rhodes probably. That'd be my guess. I don't think he has any chance of holding DK. And like we've talked about in other videos, I think Russ is going to be allowed to cook, and that offense is going to be clicking. So I think it's a big week for DK.
Me having him at 6 has no knock on DK. I just think Diggs and Hopkins are better plays, just because I think Arizona has more targets now, but DeAndre Hopkins has showed for 3 or 4 years that he is
It don't matter.
he is the real deal. It doesn't matter who's in that offense. It doesn't matter who's throwing to him. He's going to command his targets to get his yards and touchdowns. And the Diggs, I feel like Pittsburgh has a really good defense, but like I said, Josh Allen forces him the ball. He makes sure Diggs gets his.
Yeah, the Pittsburgh defense is why I have Diggs behind guys like Hopkins and Ridley. That's the only reason. He's going to get tons of targets. He's their main guy. Especially no running game. They're just gonna they're gonna have to throw because Pittsburgh's gonna shut that down real quick. But that's nothing Buffalo doesn't want to do.
Yeah.
So right after those guys, we both have Justin Jefferson at 7. Do you think he's next in line to make that kind of top group of receivers?
Between him and guys like CD Lamb, the only reason I have CD Lamb so low is because he's facing Tampa Bay, but if he was facing somebody like Philly or the Chargers, I'm just naming out random teams. I mean, I would have him up around that 9 to 10 range too.
Not Terry. You don't think Terry's up there with Jefferson as far as like next in line? I think Terry is super talented. He's going to have the best quarterback play of his career, probably.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't love the quarterback situation. I know you're a big Ryan Fitzpatrick fan. I am not.
I'm not a big Ryan Fitzpatrick fan, but he's a massive upgrade to like Dwayne Haskins, who I just watched him play with the third stringers against the Panthers.
But they also just added Curtis Samuel, too.
That don't matter.
But like we said in the last video, Curtis Samuel is questionable.
McLaurin's the alpha dog there.
If Curtis Samuel doesn't play, I'll keep him. I'll probably move him up past Mike Evans. I'll probably move him up to 8. Where you have him.
Gotcha. Oh, I see. You got Evans at 8. I've got all 3 of the Bucs receivers, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Antonio Brown, a little closer together. I've got Evans at 12. I've got Godwin at 15. And off the top of my head, AB's at 27. I was trying to move AB up into like my lower 20s. I think as the season goes, you'll see those 3, the rankings kind of come closer together because you never know. Any given week, one of them is going to pop off for like 100 yards and touchdown. But for this week against Dallas, I think Mike Evans and Chris Godwin are going to be the better plays. What do you think about AJ Brown and Julio Jones?
Well, I got a question.
Sure.
What about what if you had a duo? Now, most people probably wouldn't, but who would you pick? CD Lamb and Amari Cooper or Mike Evans and Chris Godwin? Just for any, all season.
For fantasy or like real life?
Fantasy.
For fantasy, I would go.
I think I would go Amari and CD Lamb.
It's close because, man, that's tough. I'm gonna go Evans and Godwin. I would go Evans and Godwin, but it's by a smidge. Evans and Godwin.
Okay.
Yeah, I just think they're like it's hard. You're splitting hairs here. That's just personal preference. I think Evans is the best receiver out of the 4 of them that you named, and then I think between Godwin and Amari and CD, they're all very close.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, it's close, but I would rather have CD Lamb and Amari Cooper. But like you said, it's super close. And then we have AJ Brown. You have him at 9. I have him at 10. Still a top 10 play. The only thing you got to worry about is Julio Jones, though.
And Derrick Henry. I mean, Derrick Henry.
Yeah, but I mean, he produced last year with Derrick Henry there. If you watch AJ Brown, though, he is so fun to watch.
He's very good.
They got a pretty good matchup with Arizona. Arizona does have a tough defense.
But their corners are weak.
Yeah, but they have a really good defensive line, so maybe they shy away from the run a little bit more and only give Derrick Henry, 25 carries?
Yeah, then they might bring him back a little bit.
And then
I just don't see who's going to cover AJ Brown and Julio.
I don't know how an offense can produce 2 top 15 receivers and a top 3 running back, though.
I don't know. I mean, I think the Chiefs, when they had Kareem Hunt, had that kind of thing going with Kelsey and Hill.
Yeah, but Ryan Tannehill isn't Patrick Mahomes. But was it Alex Smith there for a little bit?
No, they had Mahomes. They had Mahomes throwing the ball to him.
I thought that Kareem Hunt breakout season was with Alex Smith.
I'm pretty sure that was Mahomes. I'd have to double check that. I think it was Mahomes.
Let's look at it. Yeah, you look it up real quick. But then skipping through the Bucs and Cowboys receivers, Keenan Allen at 13. I am lower on him than you are. I have him at 16. You have him at 10. just because of that Washington defense he's facing. Are you not worried about the defense with that ranking at 10?
Sorry, with Keenan Allen. No, I think their defensive line is great. Their secondary is okay. I just think Keenan Allen's their main guy. I think the Washington offense is going to be very good. I think the Chargers defense can be suspect at times. And so the Chargers are going to have to pass a lot, and a lot of that's going to Eckler, and it's going to Keenan Allen. And then the occasional deep bomb to Mike Williams. Other than that, I just think Keenan Allen's going to be fed here. I don't think they really have any shutdown corner to continue with that.
And then off to DJ Moore. You have him at 11. I have him at 18. Why are you so high on DJ Moore?
The talent. He's extremely explosive. Got a brand new quarterback coming in. Terrace Marshall is going to help free up some space for him, I think. McCaffrey coming back. He's just super explosive. They feed the ball to him. Dude's a 80-yard touchdown waiting to happen.
Oh, by the way, it was Alex Smith playing that Kareem Hunt year.
Let's see.
But I don't know. I think Robbie Anderson. Well, I think Sam Darnold is a downgrade from Teddy B. Actually, I really do think so. I don't think he could spread it around like Teddy B did. And his favorite receiver is probably going to be Robbie Anderson, if not Terrace Marshall at some point. But DJ Moore is a stud.
Mahomes year I was thinking about was when Kareem got suspended. That's what I was thinking of.
Oh, okay.
Next year.
But I mean, he still was playing good up until that suspension.
Oh, yeah.
But
sorry to take you away.
No, you're good. You're good. I was finished up talking about DJ Moore. And then Adam Thielen, I have him at 15. You have him at 17.
Yep.
He has a really good matchup against Cincinnati.
He's just kind of touchdown dependent. I don't think he's going to go out there and get you 150 yards like Justin Jefferson always has the chance of. I think Jefferson is clearly the wide receiver 1 now. Last year was kind of like a 1A, 1B. I think with a full offseason, Jefferson's going to really take the lead. And Thielen's just going to be banking on touchdowns, but he has such a good connection with Kirk Cousins. I wouldn't put him past him to be well in the double digits again. I think last year had 14.
But he does have the chance to get like 10 catches for 90 yards. Like that does sound like an Adam Thielen stat line.
Yeah, but those are kind of few and far in between. He's very touchdown dependent.
Well, you had him last year. I've never had him before, so.
Yeah, I had him last year. He did great. He had tons of touchdowns.
I think he had somewhere 12 to 14 touchdowns.
He had 14.
Yeah, he had 14, and that's just not happening again.
Yeah, I don't see that.
But Robert Woods, I have him at 17. You have him at 18. And then Tyler Lockett. You're a big fan of the Seattle offense. I think Tyler Lockett is the biggest boomer bust player in the league.
He's up
he'll
there.
get you 40 on a random Sunday night, or he'll get you
203 touchdowns.
Yeah, or he'll give you 2.1 points. So I think there's very little in between with him. So you think he can maybe, produce consistency this year?
I think he can. As long as they let Russ cook, that's the main thing. I've said it in a lot of videos. If they stay consistent and let him keep throwing the ball around, there will be plenty to go around for Lockett. DK is obviously going to be the main focal point, but Tyler Lockett's too talented. Him and Russ have a great connection, so I would look for him to have a more consistent year this year.
And not to skip over Robert Woods, but I think he is the better receiver to have in that Rams offense. Don't you agree?
I would. It's just so close because Kupp a couple of years ago was a touchdown machine, but he got hurt. So if you can get back to that, it wouldn't surprise me if Kupp outscores him. But I think Robert Woods is extremely steady. He's very consistent.
Yeah, especially in PPR formats.
Mm-hmm.
He'll get you, 8 or 9 catches a game.
Yeah. One big name I see there that is, I think, unusually low, but it's purely just because of matchup, is Allen Robinson. We've got him at 20. That's purely just because of Jalen Ramsey.
Yeah, that is only because of Jalen Ramsey, or else I would have him, in that top 15 easy.
Yep. So look for him to move up in our following weeks. Who are some other ones you want to touch on? Who's got a lot to go around there? We talked about AD.
The Cincinnati receivers. Okay. Let's start off with T. Higgins.
Okay.
So we think he's going to be, the week 1 target. week one number one target for Joe Burrow. Do you think that continues all season, or do you think that's just until Jamar Chase gets going?
I think that's going to be most of the season. I think he's very underrated as far as talent. He's a big frame, big body, moves really well. Jamar Chase is going to come along. He's going to have those explosive plays, and then Tyler Boyd's going to get plenty of looks. But I think overall, T. Higgins is going to be the most consistent number one option.
And then I see Cortland Sutton here. I have him at 26. You have him at 21. I have him at 26 just because he's going against James Bradbury, who's a very good corner. Mm-hmm. And because, I mean, I said I like Teddy B better than Sam Darnold, but that doesn't mean much. I mean, I don't love the Teddy B situation.
Well, I mean, everybody goes back and talks about how Teddy carried 3 top 25 receivers.
I think that was more the offense than Teddy Bridgewater.
I do too, but Bridgewater can at least manage it. Like, he's not going to, tank your receivers. He'll at least get the ball to him. With Sutton and Jerry Judy, it's hard for me at this point to separate them. I've got Sutton at 21 and Judy at 25. Judy could very easily flip flop and Judy be the number one this year. It's hard to tell because Judy was on his own last year with Sutton being injured, and then the year before that Sutton was a stud. So it's hard to tell. It's early, but we'll see.
And then Odell Beckham, we kind of have him around that 23, 24 range. He's just such a big question mark. Possible
comeback player of the year?
I don't think so.
He's got that potential between like him and Dak or Saquon.
I think Dak has that thing locked up with how he plays.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be interesting.
Just because his injury was way more, he's a quarterback, and the Hard Knocks people have seen what he's been through too. I just think Dak has that award locked up, kind of like Alex Smith had it last year.
Yeah. The last one I want to ask you about before we start to wrap up is Kenny Galladay at 31.
I do not like the disrespect. I have him ranked at 27.
I'm at 37. I think he's a very talented player. I don't like his situation, and certainly not this matchup.
Well, I mean, the matchup is why I have him at 27. If he was facing a mid to back end defense, I would have him a little bit higher.
That's crazy, I think.
But Kenny Galladay is super talented. He catches a lot of touchdowns. Evan Ingram might not play in the week one matchup. You think that's irrelevant?
Yeah. Because Kyle Rudolph can just slide right in.
I wanted to show you something real quick. Hold on. It's going to take a second to get it up.
Well, Kenny Galladay, back when he was on the Lions, he was the guy. Like the guy, and Stafford was a competent thrower.
I think he is the guy
very little
in
run
this
game.
Offense.
That's Saquon. That's Saquon Barkley.
He's as big of a question mark as Kenny Galladay is.
Well, there's more receiving threats that could take targets away from him. You got Darius Slayton there. You touch on Evan Ingram and Saquon out of the backfield. But I'm just not a believer in Daniel Jones compared to like Matthew Stafford when he was like his only guy.
I think this was the weeks that Matthew Stafford missed. He still was wide receiver 3.
Yeah, but
David Blau but he had Marvin Jones with him. He had Marvin Jones and then TJ Hockenson his rookie year.
Yeah, I mean Marvin Jones is a boomer bust. He's kind of like a Tyler Lockett.
But I would say that Marvin Jones and TJ Hawkinson's better than Darius Slayton and Evan Ingram.
But there's no Saquon. They're not handing the ball to Saquon.
I think you're really overestimating because they're going to be stacking the box for once. If Saquon is Saquon, I think they'll be stacking the box, and then that's just gonna. I think that's just even more reason why Kenny Galladay can succeed. But he's gonna start off. He's gonna start off the gate probably a little bit slow, just because he is hurt.
Yeah.
That's another reason I have him a little bit lower, or I would have moved him higher.
Yeah. Anyways,
we already touched on the Tampa Bay receivers. Let's look at any more. Corey Davis.
I think the only other ones that I'd like to talk about is the Pittsburgh receivers. 3 very solid options. Right now, we've got I think Juju ranked as the lowest one between us. I've got Deontay Johnson at 28, got Claypool at 29, and Juju at 30. So I ranked them all together. It's kind of a wait back and see because all 3 of them have shown potential. They've got the talent and the potential opportunity to be the number 1 receiver in that offense. So hard to rank him at this point, I think.
Yeah, it's kind of like I mean, it's not a great situation either. I mean, Big Ben doesn't have the deep ball like he once did. So, I mean, those long juju catches they used to have
Yeah.
kind of been eliminated. Deontay Johnson, I think, is the much better one just because he's kind of the underneath guy for Big Ben.
Okay.
But I think the guy you want in that offense, Najee Harris.
Oh, I think clearly.
Absolute workhorse. Him and Deontay Johnson. I really like Deontay Johnson this year.
I can see that by your ranking at 22.
Yeah. And that's a guy I don't have in any of my drafts either because he's going so high right now.
I think I've got him in one league.
Yeah. But Marquez Calloway, I see where we have a big gap there. You have him at 35. I have him at 48.
Mm-hmm.
I think he might be guarded by Jair Alexander.
He may be, but they're playing Green Bay. Green Bay is going to score a ton of points on them. They're going to have to throw. And Marquez Calloway at this point is their only option they've seen so far down the field. Kamara's going to get his out of the backfield. And
can I make a bold prediction?
Sure. Let's see
now.
Sure.
Marquez Calloway, if guarded by Jair Alexander, has one catch.
Wow.
One catch.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, I think that is pretty bold. If Green Bay gets up and Jameis is slinging it, assuming his color blindness is gone, like we said in the last video, assuming he can see the right colors, I think Marquez has the potential to catch a long touchdown. He's kind of comparable to, oh my gosh, his name, Marquez Valdes-Scantling for the Packers. That kind of player.
I have heard a little bit of MVS. Aaron Rodgers loves him.
Yeah,
I thought there was maybe some potential sleeper in there, but I mean, just the drops problem. It's just, can you really trust a receiver after Devonte Adams? Not really.
Nah.
But I think that's going to do the rankings video. So
everybody else you want to add? No, it looks good. Appreciate everybody for watching. Check out our website, thefffanatics.com. We post weekly rankings, weekly articles, a lot of good content. Our podcast, our YouTube channel is the Fantasy Fanatics. And then our Twitter, the FFFanatics3. We're on there all the time. We'll be live streaming before games. We'll be answering Twitter questions before games. Feel free to hit us up. We got our league starting up. We got drafts coming. If anybody wants to get in a league, we still have spots open. Hit us up. And other than that, I think we'll see you in the next one.
All right.